Taxed to the max. We all are. But government unionized employees are using our hard-earned cash on things you just wouldn't believe. Here to explain is Constitutional Policy Director for the Goldwater Institute. He's out in Phoenix today, Nick Dranias. Nick, good morning to you.
Morning.
All right, first, before we get to the list of things they're doing, you've got to explain what release time is, because that's where all this is happening.
Look, it's hard to believe, but unions actually get to put their representatives on the government payroll, on the taxpayer dime, to do nothing but union work. It is literally taxpayers paying for union muscle.
Okay, so that's known as release time when they're doing union business. Here's some of the things you have uncovered. During release time, they're able to threaten bodily harm to their bosses. How do they do that?
Well, what they do is they use maximum threats and some pretty colorful language to go after their bosses in the heat of contract negotiations. And they actually encourage work actions, disobedience to orders. You know, when I say that this is taxpayers paying for union muscle, it is quite literally that. I mean, the sole justification for release time that union representatives have given is supposedly for labor harmony. And these examples are the furthest thing from labor harmony.
No kidding. Number two, you say they can actively disobey direct orders from their chief on release time. How?
Well, what they do is they say, hey, we don't like this policy, and they'll spread an email around, or they'll get the word around that they should disobey it. And the example that we've used in here is that they didn't want to have a camera monitoring their use of tasers. So they were basically coordinating disobedience of that requirement in Phoenix. So the key thing to understand here is that while union reps are placed on the taxpayer's dime, they are not working for the taxpayer. They're working to obstruct management, obstruct policing, and it's so bad that when we got our first injunction against this practice, 6 of these employees, a number of them had to go back to police academy to learn how to be policemen again.
That's crazy. It certainly sounds like insubordination grounds for firing, but apparently not in this case. Also, you say they can use colorful language when displeased with contract negotiations.
Well, I don't know if I could get into the details on a family show like this, but you know, they
don't go
use
too
threats,
deep in the details.
Yeah, look, what release time is all about is taxpayers subsidizing government unions to do nothing but government union work. And it's not just something that happens in Phoenix. We've discovered this is a common practice throughout union contracts in every level of government, all the way up to the federal government.
We've got 2 more examples I want to get to. They can wage a PR war, essentially, a campaign to damage somebody's character on release time.
Absolutely. See, if they don't get what they want in contract negotiations, they've even gone after their former police chief when he was applying for new jobs. So, again, what we have here are government union representatives placed on the payroll for the government on the taxpayer's dime to do nothing but union work, and union work that is narrowly self-interested. They're not advancing any public purpose. And what we're trying to do is make sure that taxpayer dollars are used for public purposes. I mean, just imagine if a real estate developer put their architect on the city payroll to design subdivisions for a developer. Nobody would stand for it, but there's something about the clout of a government union that lets it get away with murder.
Well, you know what, Nick, I don't think a lot of people realized what release time was, nor what unionized employees for the government can do on it. And now, thanks to you and the Goldwater Institute, we got a better idea. Nick Dranias joining today from Phoenix. Nick, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Quite an eye-opener, isn't it?